with your SIAC trophy?
No, there's no space for it. I mean, you'd have to be back here.
Right. Pop it in. Let it be known.
I mean, if you want to put it back here.
Well, I'm just saying you can like, hold up and say maybe in your.
What's going on, Crunchtime Survivors? And once again, it's your man, Coach Chain.
Coach Cat.
Coach Brandy.
And we're back in the ATL, baby, at Atlanta University. Hey, I'm so honored to be able to interview my first cheerleading coach. Oh, man, it's such a blessing. Wouldn't y'all agree? Give it up for Coach Alane Hickman, Clark University's cheer coach. Man, it's a blessing. Tell us how you're doing today.
I'm doing amazing. I'm very happy to be here with you all. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
You're very honored. So give the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Coach Alane Hickman. I am the head cheer coach here at Clark Atlanta University. I'm going into season 14.
Okay.
And I went to Clark Atlanta as well. I cheered here back in the day. I'm not gonna give you them numbers.
Oh, man.
You don't got to.
But I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
Yes,
And so eventually, I left and came back and taken over the program, and it's been amazing for 14 years. Hoping to do many more, but even as a student athlete here, it was great. We did several competitions. We won. We were, started to toot my own horn here, but we were first Black college cheer champions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Represent.
So I am one of the few coaches, it may be the only, that has won a championship as a student and as a coach here at Clark Atlanta.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Well, getting into it, like to be at a HBCU, not only in HBCUs but all over America. I feel cheerleading, the sport of cheer, goes unnoticed, and people don't give it the pub that it deserves because sometimes they feel like it's not a sport. Like, how do you feel about people downplaying what you do?
Well, I always have a simple answer for that. I tell people all the time, I really don't care if you believe cheer is a sport or not, but my team are athletes, and you will treat them as such, and everybody treat them accordingly. Especially here at my university, we are under the athletic department, and I know a lot of universities sometimes cheer can fall under student affairs as a student activity. Sometimes it mixes with athletics. Here at CAU, we are under athletics. And so as all of our athletes go, football, basketball, we go as well, and so we're bound by those same rules that even though cheer is not an NCAA sport,
Right.
we still abide by those rules and guidelines for the benefit of our university. Cheer has evolved into other not industries, but other ways. So there is an NCAA stunt. And then the other one is acro and tumbling as well. And so both of those are NCAA guideline cheer-based sports. And so I really don't ever even bother having the argument, oh, is cheer a sport?
Exactly.
That's so subjective. People, you can feel how you feel. But, as far as, like you say, cheer gets downplayed, one of the things I also say is, who cheers for the cheerleaders? And so, because everybody always assumes that, you guys, you guys are just there. You're cute.
Exactly.
You're just, fancy in skirts, right? Yeah. But when you see the work that goes into it, especially at all the different levels, you really understand that cheer is definitely a sport. Our strength and conditioning coach actually came out to practice one day and was like, y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. I was like, what are you doing? And we were like, yeah, you want to try? He was like, no. So it's an easy answer from me, especially I've been in this practically my whole life. So
So about how many hours a week y'all have to put in, you say, to get conditioning?
I mean, you have to get in condition to cheer for sure. Cheer doesn't condition you. But our normal practice right now, we practice about 2.5 hours. Yeah, we practice in the evenings after classes. But during the summer, we have a preseason camp, which is 7 days, and it is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. I know in August in Atlanta, it's hot. Some of them love it, some of them hate, most of them hate it. We try to do indoors as much as possible, but you got to get used to this heat in the South, and you're going to cheer in it, especially if you have ever been to Tuskegee in August. You know what I'm talking about. You need to be prepared. And so we definitely, that preseason time is vital to what we do as a program. It sets the foundation for our entire year because we are a full year team. We do football season and basketball season and any other sports that we can have the time that we also want to get in there and support as well as all the other CAU functions that we attend. So that first week is foundational. Now, before that even happens, my team spends the summer, especially the incoming team, the rookies, learning all the material. I mean, I've had to separate it into 2 catalogs now. We have so much material. And so we send out videos for them to learn the material all summer. So when they get to campus, we hit the ground running.
So they should already know.
Yeah.
Okay, now, how did you get started into cheerleading?
So I started cheering, I think, when I was 5, like most young girls do. My brother, I have an older brother, he was playing football. And so we were going out there with him to play football. My dad was out there with him and my mom was like, well, what do you want to do? Let's shoot. So my mom became the cheer coach.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, well, this is what we're doing. But back then, I'm telling my age again, but that's okay because, like no crack.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was saddle Oxfords with the big pom-poms on them, you know, the hard sole shoes, like the schoolgirl shoes. We used to wear those with the big pom-poms and stuff. And so we would be out there cheering for my brother. That's really how I started.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get us ready for the comments, because feel free to ask questions, but go ahead, back to you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But that's my origin story, as they say, of cheer. And then it just, you know, every cheerleader knows once it's in you.
Yeah, that love, that
Once it's
passion
in
early
you,
on.
early on,
Yeah.
is you're stuck with it forever. And so, yeah.
Like being a cheerleader, right? You have to be an athlete. People don't realize how much it actually takes. And I didn't know, I just found this out recently, that it's positions in cheerleading.
Yes.
What are those positions?
So basically, you have, for stunting purposes, you have flyers. Those are the girls that go up top that fly, that do all the scary, dangerous stuff. You have bases. Those are your main two girls that are providing the strength and the power. And then you have a back spot. I always say the back spot's like the quarterback of the stunt. She's the one that controls. I know you got confused on that, huh?
Yeah.
She's the one that can control the direction of what's going. If it's going too far this way, she's can pull it back, and she has a view of the flyer and both bases, so she can talk and can let everybody know, hey, pull up, stand up, tighten up, lock out. She can communicate best, so she's kind of the quarterback of what's going on. So those are the three positions when it comes to stunting. Now, of course, you can get into co-ed stunting, and you've got just a guy and a girl stunting, and then you've got tumblers, you've got you know, people that specialize really more in tumbling. Sometimes they're, you know, and then you got your dancers for sure. And so there are lots of aspects of cheer.
And so if you were building a team today with the people in this room right now, give us our positions.
We would probably go base, back spot, flyer.
No, I'm a flyer. I'm a flyer. I don't know what you thought. I'm a flyer.
I've never been a flyer.
I'm a flyer. I don't know. Listen.
I'm
listen.
a flyer now, finally.
Yes.
Are you fat shaming?
I've never been a flyer all my life.
Are you fat shaming?
I have to
I'm
go,
I'm a flyer.
I have to go on record and say we do not fat shame, because
Can I?
I get
But I'm a
questions
flyer.
about that all the time. Like, do you? And they like, oh, what do you mean by physically fit? We are body inclusive. We absolutely are body inclusive. If you can do the skills, baby, bring it on.
You know what they call me? You ever heard of PSA?
No.
I'm a plus size athlete.
Okay.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
That's what he
I
said.
ain't though.
But I was a flyer.
Yes.
I ain't throwing you
Can
up.
I be the flyer one time in my life?
Man, go ahead, fly.
Okay, thank
fly
you.
as high as you want to. Hope you
I-
get a bird or a
look,
jet.
Look, I tell you, I have had to be a flyer before. Like,
you
so
definitely
one of the
have.
things that my background is, I was an NCA instructor. NCA is one of the leading cheerleading forces, and so they do summer camps all across the world. And so I was an instructor, and so I show up to a camp one time. You get an assignment for your summer.
Right.
I show up to this particular camp, and I look around, and I'm the smallest girl there, and I was like. They were like, you're upset. And I was like, oh my God. Now, mind you, I'm 5'7", but especially back during my college, I was thin. So there was they were like, you're the flyer. And I was like, I'm a back spot. No, please,
Ooh.
5'7" is kind of tall for a flyer, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is. But again, right now, I'm the kind of coach of the mindset. I don't care what your size is, particularly when it comes to flying. If you can do the skills, you can do it. And so one of the big things, it's a good question actually. I remember I had a situation one time where I asked my team, I said, hey, I've got this one flyer. She's 5 feet tall, 90 pounds, but she's a loosey-goosey. I've got this other flyer. She's 5'5", 125, 130 pounds, but she's tight. Which one do you want? They said, let me get heavy and tight all
She
day.
can hold her own
Heavy and
weight.
tight.
Heavy and tight. Yes, they were like, let me get that heavy and tight all day. Over that little itty bitty, because it's a different levels of control. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, you learn something new every day.
And at HBCUs, hey, we're real grown women here. You know what I
Right.
mean? We're not these itty bitty stick
ma'am.
figures. We have our curves, and so I encourage the girls. If it's just about skill development and skill technique for your bases. It's not about weight. It's about technique.
Wow.
So that to me, that's definitely like an athlete. So y'all diets and stuff real really got big involved.
I don't push it. I personally don't push a diet. I definitely push healthy lifestyles for my girls because each team member has different needs, you know. And so I don't ever require them diet. I always say, hey, let's make smarter choices. Less sugar, less sodas in the cab.
Okay.
Can we skip the pizza line one day? You know, can maybe instead at fried chicken Wednesday we can do baked chicken Wednesdays.
Now,
you know,
I'm gonna tell you something. No,
I know that's a hard ass.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you because we was at the calf last time we was here, and boy, it's a variety. They listen.
So they cook.
People,
They
Clark
cook.
Atlanta University calf. Let me tell you something. They know what they're doing in there.
They do.
And it's not easy for no athlete.
You did?
Yeah.
Fishing
Man, he went down there.
Fish and grits.
not open
But
it?
they got baked fish.
Man, you want baked fish when it's fried fish right there. Come on, coach. Come on, coach.
Hey,
I had
you
me a
go
chicken
look.
fillet,
So
everything.
this is what I tell my team, my young ladies, because I do have a co-ed team now. But my young ladies, I tell them, when you come in as a freshman, your goal is that when you leave out as a senior, to be in that same skirt or go down.
Okay.
So I don't put any.
Okay.
I don't put any. Yeah.
So stay.
Any real weight requirements and restrictions on. I just say,
Be able to wear your
do you
uniform.
want to have to go, wear your uniform? You want to look
Okay.
good in your uniform.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned that you guys are now co-ed. How long have you been co-ed?
This was as a coach, this was my first year. When I cheered here back in the 90s, we definitely had some co-ed teams. But this has been my first co-ed venture since I've been a coach. I had a young man come in and he is the brother we did not know we needed. I mean, he teases them like a brother. He messes with them, you know, to the point where sometimes they be like, he's too, I'm like, I know, girl, I got him. But he's really talented young man out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, right?
Okay.
And so he came in and he's really made a big impact on our program, and we enjoy having him around.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a little different. It's like, how can I put this? Not moving away from that.
Sorry.
But when y'all compete, when Clark Atlanta University compete, is it against other HBCUs or PWIs are involved in that?
So competition is a whole nother animal, you know, and other than just our typical cheer duties for the university in terms of games and everything, competitions range from conference to you've got like cheer sport, and you've got NCA, you've got UCA, and even within those conferences, businesses, you've got different divisions and levels. It's levels to this, right? Our most recent competition was our SIAC, our conference. So that was everybody that the football teams and basketball team plays. It's our Tuskegee's,
So the
Fort
conference.
Valley,
Okay.
Albany State, Central State, our conference. And so in 2019, we won our We have a trophy around here somewhere.
Go ahead, pull out the hardware.
Oh, yeah.
Pull out the-
Oh, it's heavy.
It's
Oh.
heavy, yes.
So that's all we do at
Pull it
Crunchtime
out, pull
Survivors.
it
is
out.
win
Yes,
trophies.
in 2019, we did win our division and
Show
our
'em.
trophy. So I'm gonna let
Show
you know.
'em.
You know,
Let 'em know.
we got some hardware around here.
Wow.
Let them know.
And so there are, but there are definitely other ways to compete. So I would say most recently, I'm gonna give a shout out to some of our other HBCUs, Xavier, as well as North Carolina A&T. And a lot of these, they went and they really showed out well. They put good performances on the floor and won some championships on a level where they are competing against PWIs. And so it is, and it's really cool because to see them continue that tradition, and I say continue that tradition because back in 1998, Clark Atlanta's all-girl team went to NCA in Daytona and competed as well. We actually we won a bid, so we had a Black College Cheer Championship. By winning that championship, we got a bid to NCA and the College Nationals in Daytona. And so it was us and Southern University, and we all hopped on a bus together. We had ourselves a time that weekend and went and competed. And so Black colleges have been on the scene on stages with these PWIs ever since the early 90s.
And holding it down.
Now, between those two, is it a big difference you can tell between the style of cheering?
Well, now, of course. So when it comes to your sideline cheering, you know, for game cheering and competition, there's a guideline, there's a rubric of what's required and skills and things that you need to hit. And so for that, everybody falls into the same. Now, of course, as a HBCU, we still gonna throw our own little bit of sauce on that thing, you know, to make sure they know. But for those competitions, like I said, there's requirements that you have to hit. But for game day, of course, you know, everybody, I always like to say PWIs cheer up and down, HBCUs, we cheer side to side.
So y'all had a lateral movement.
Yeah, we do a lot.
Okay.
Now, at Clark Atlanta, I'm sure you all have heard of Stomp and Shake.
Yes.
I haven't. What is it?
Stomp and Shake is a style of cheer that was originated in the Carolinas, and it's much
and
more.
shake.
It's stomp. It's literally stomp and shake.
Yeah.
There's a
Can y'all do something?
kind of.
You got to stand up, show the people.
I am not a stomp and shake
Oh, so she
cheerleader, and I would
Oh.
not
Stomp
dare
and-
disrespect the
Oh.
craft
Oh, I
by
like
me
that.
getting up and doing this.
Okay.
I like that.
That's not my lane.
Okay.
I love it and I appreciate it and I respect it because it is a very, even though people are like, you know, they'll be like, oh, that's kind of ghetto. No, Stomp and
It's a
Shake
style.
is
the real
technical.
deal.
It is difficult. It's precise. And it is not something that you can just pick up. Trust me, because at Clark Atlanta, we may have, I ain't gonna lie, we probably have about 5 Stomp and Shake cheers out of our whole catalog because it is just not, that's not what we do. We don't do it as well as the originators do it, so we don't
Right.
disrespect
Okay,
it
okay.
by trying to
love
imitate
that.
what we don't do. So we do have a blend of HBCU style as well as traditional cheer here at CAU. So we don't fall into one category.
Okay.
I've been trying to come up with a name for it, but
Okay.
I haven't done
But
it
once
yet.
you name it, you have to patent it. It's yours.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
yes.
yours. Don't let nobody come up off your idea.
Yes.
Man,
I didn't
so
know it was
Stomp
different
and
styles
Shake.
like that.
I didn't either.
Oh yeah, it's different. Yeah, you got to pay attention, you know, and start to look. Now, I will say one thing that was very interesting. So my father, who was a football coach and a track coach, and he's an athlete. He's a Hall of Fame in his college. They went to the SEC he and his brother, my brother went to the SEC basketball tournament game recently, and my phone beeps and I get a picture of a picture of an SEC cheerleader. And I won't say the school. And my father says, Clark Atlanta kills these cheerleaders.
Oh, wow.
He was like, he said, I've been sitting here watching the cheerleaders. He's like, they're so boring.
Man.
And I was like, oh my goodness, Dad. And I said, well, Dad, they just have a different style. He was like, well, their style is boring.
don't like it. Look, Dad
and it was
said he don't
because he
like
had
it.
recently been to one of our one of our basketball games, and it was our basketball team won our conference championship. So our games up in Club Epps are lit, and so he was just enjoying the energy and the vibe, and then he went to that game and was like, womp womp.
Oh, wow.
So I really, if you know my father, that a compliment coming from him, that was amazing. So I really
strict?
appreciated that.
He real strict?
He is former military, former FBI,
And coach.
and a coach. You tell
Oh
me.
man. So you come from. Y'all know why I'm looking over there. Y'all can't see the assistant coach, and we're gonna get into that in a second. Boy, you got your hands full, boy.
Oh, yes.
You got your hands full. You got some big shoes to fill. We're gonna talk to you in a second. And we got a surprise guest. Y'all just stay tuned. But let's take a moment to give our sponsors a shout out, Rap Snacks, and let the people know about the young lady right here on the table.
Oh, this is one of a beautiful doll that we have. It is by HBCU Dolls. She is a creator. I believe she's a Hampton alum herself.
Okay.
And she has created a line of dolls of all HBCUs. She has cheerleaders. She's got majorettes. She's got campus queens.
Beautiful.
So check her out at
Make sure y'all
HBCU Dolls.
support.
Yeah.
And make sure y'all hit
Support.
the Ko-Fi because this stuff is totally financed by the team right here. And donations, support, prayers, all of it is appreciated.
Always
Thank
welcome.
you.
Crunchtime Survivors is what's going on and the time is now. So going back into it, let's talk about adversity. Has there ever been a time you were in a cheer competition? You felt like you should have won, but you didn't?
No, because I always win.
What she called?
I guess we'll
What
never
she
know.
called?
So what did Kanye
What
say?
she called?
I guess we'll
All
never
she
know.
do is win.
I mean,
Can't tell her what you like.
I mean,
Your style.
I like your style. You hear me?
I tell you, I am one of those coaches where I say, competition, I'll say this, competition takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time. And for college girls that are on a minimal scholarship, that's a lot. It's a big ask. And so if my team says we are going to dedicate and this is what we're going to do, then Coach Lane becomes a different kind of coach. We are not going to do this just to go and show up. We are going to go and to show out. We are going home with a trophy. Otherwise, don't waste my time. And if you are not committed to that level, then we can find a show, a showcase, or something to perform. If y'all just want to be cute, we can. There's plenty of opportunities to do that. But if you're talking about putting yourself on the line to win, to become a champion, something that will last with you forever, I expect 100% commitment out of you.
I like that mindset. I love it.
That's coming from somebody that was raised by a military person, an FBI agent, a coach. That's the mindset.
Yes.
That's the mindset. Also, I want to do this because we're a part of programs back home and organizations. First, let them know about your program and we want to give them a shout out.
Hello, I'm Coach Brandy, the owner of B Elite All Stars. We're out of Tampa, Florida. We are Black-owned program in Tampa. So we do, of course, highlight our cheerleaders, make sure that we are representing Black cheerleaders in Tampa. So, hey y'all.
Let me know what y'all just did now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, we
some numbers.
well, last weekend in Orlando, Florida, one of our teams, the Honeybees, won world champion.
Yay.
You see the big ring? You see the big ring? So I like we winning around here too. Congratulations.
Again, I guess we'll never know.
Yes. Over 140 teams competed all over. So in our category, we won. So that definitely was an accomplishment. Last year we bronzed. So this year our goal was to go back and win the gold.
Nice.
And we did. And we've been very strong this season. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here interviewing you.
Absolutely.
Because this is a blessing just to be in your presence.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
that.
I
follow a lot of HBCUs, and Clark was always a school I wanted to go to. Of course, I did some other stuff and I ain't get here. I ain't never get here. So it's an honor just to be here because this is the school I wanted to cheer for.
I
so
appreciate that
thank you.
much.
Thank you for being
that
representation.
means a lot to me because it means that the product that I'm putting out into the cheer world is respected and represented well. And so that really does, those are the compliments that mean the most to me. So I appreciate that.
Representation,
greatly.
that's very, very important.
I mean, All-Star Cheer is an amazing outlet and venue for young athletes. The Black space for All-Star Cheer has really grown.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to go and look and see how many teams are, I'm gonna just say just all Black, but mostly majority Black. I mean, here in Atlanta, I know of. I can just give you two. Yes, it's a lot, but I can give you two off the top. You've got CAO All-Stars. Yes, hey Tony. Shout out to Tony.
That's my girl.
Cheer Combine.
That's my girl.
As well as oh my goodness. Extreme Girls.
Extreme Girls.
And so one of the reasons I shout out those two programs is because girls that I have coached that have come through Clark Atlanta are now coaching at those programs.
Wow.
Yes. And so it is, I feel like a grandmama, somebody's grandmama with these babies.
They're both really, really good programs.
They really are
high
good
quality
programs. Yeah. And I mean, I'm just really proud to have representatives in each of those outlets, in each of those gyms.
They represent you well.
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do.
And also,
one of my current girls on my squad right now. She's a freshman, so she still was young enough to compete. She was at that competition with you in Orlando, and I believe Cover Girls. I believe they won.
They
well.
did. Yeah, Stream had a lot of wins.
Stream Cover Girls, they won. Yeah, shout out to my baby Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, call you a lot of wins. And I also want to say this: we support all cheerleaders, even the recreation. Tampa area Jags, y'all know Coach Chain love y'all. Florida, every cheer team in Florida Elite, or in the Florida Elite organization program, the Inner City Bengals, the Wolverines, but them TBJ Jags, I love y'all. Yeah, I love all y'all, but I love y'all. Right. Y'all know what time it is. 24 gonna be something interesting. They gonna bring home them championships as well.
Rec league cheer is important. It's just like my origin. It was my origin story.
Mine too.
You get a lot of times you may end up into, like I said, because my brother was playing football, and it's like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? But. And so it's a starting point. So to get introduced to what is this sport, what does this require? I call her my grand god baby, or my GGB. She's in rec league right now here in Atlanta in College Park, and she, and I just love seeing the things that she's learning and the experience she's getting. She's 8 years old, you know, and
the
so
fundamentals.
Yeah, she's learning those fundamentals.
I always say rec cheer coaches, like if you cheer rec and you coach rec, I always say those are the best coaches because you literally have to take whoever comes.
Yes.
It's not like all-star where you can pick and choose your team.
Right.
Whoever comes on that field, you have to make them a champion.
So would it
Yes.
be wise for any coach that can want to consider all-star cheerleading, would it be wise for them to do recreation first?
I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to do recreation first because All-Star starts to build different skills.
Okay.
They prioritize different skills, whereas Rec League is still more, it's almost like two worlds. Rec League, it lends more to sideline cheer, where we're cheering for games and we're doing this, and then we may compete if we so choose. All-Star is strictly competition. And so when it comes to competing, you know, we don't care about your cheer, the technical, like your motion those things aren't. It's tumbling, it's stunting, it's the show. Whereas all sideline, it incorporates all of those things and cheers and material. Yeah.
Wow. So, man, like this is so.
It's deep, right?
Yeah,
You
you
never
know.
knew
Yeah, I
the
didn't
world
know.
of cheer. Cheer is $1 billion industry. It's
Tell
a
me about
$1 billion industry right
He's
now.
finding it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
and
finding that
especially
out.
especially for those of you all that have daughters, young daughters that are starting to cheer, and some of these
He
gyms.
got two at my gym.
Some of these gyms, you know, the costs can be, you know, like woo, you know,
Sure.
you need a scholarship for some gyms, you know.
Yeah.
Not to mention travel, uniforms, all of
Competition
the things,
fees and
fees,
stuff like that.
and then you get to the competition and you want to buy a sweatshirt, you want to buy
yeah.
a bag, you want to buy merch, and all of these
Just to
other
get in the
items.
competition.
The fact is, you got to pay to get in a competition. When
Yeah.
I done paid for this child,
Just to get in. The 2 days,
That's
like,
right.
Now you know what?
Yeah.
So then listen, and that's some things that need to be discussed because parents don't understand
you need to understand the commitment.
the commitment, the financials
Yes.
of it, because you get in situations that, especially in the black culture, we can say us. I'm gonna say us right now. We so focus on what this going to, what this going to, what this going to. And half of the time, and this goes on in recreation too with youth football,
Right.
sports. Oh, well, where the money going?
Right.
Man, believe it or not, some of the what you paying in ain't even enough.
Yeah, right.
What we're requiring from you, the $250 sign up fee.
not even.
It's not-
That's not even
yeah.
enough, especially for a coach that's coaching, because that's not even counting their gas money.
Right.
That's not even counting the time they're spending away from
The
their family.
dedication, right.
Like Coach Keith was on here last week. He lost his first wife to football because of football. And it's the sacrifice.
Yes.
And they think you're just sacrificing time. You're sacrificing money. You're sacrificing relationships. And like, speaking of relationships, tell us about your assistant coach and how that happened.
So
Boy.
the quick story is
Backstab, boy, you did that
the
up,
week
boy.
that I know, right?
Yeah.
You almost getting a little messy now.
He threw it in there.
Tell us how that happened.
Speaking of.
The week that I was hired here at Clark Atlanta was also the week of my wedding.
Okay.
And so, yes, it was quite a tornado of events at the time. And so, my husband at the time, he was like, I said, hey, I think I'm going to take this Clark Atlanta job. And he was like, that's wonderful, because I was just getting married. I was moving back to Atlanta. And so the timing was perfect. And so he decided, if that's where you're going to be, then that's where I'm going to be. He was like, I'm not going to let this. He was like, I don't want us to be, two trains crossing in the night. I'm coming home from work. You're leaving,
it.
going to work. And so he for years has left work, until they went to remote, of course, and come straight to campus with me and practices with me with the girls. And he provides an aspect of cheer that I didn't know I was going to need. I mean, there's literally no way I could do this without his support, because he provides us with. He's the man around that we need around. Yeah, I mean, even the girls, sometimes they're away from school. They'll call him, Coach, I've got a flat tire. Can you help me? What do I do? Those kind of things as well. And so he has been instrumental to the growth of this program and the development and everything that we do. Here at Clark Atlanta.
How long have y'all been married?
Well, so our wedding, look, he shakes his head. Our wedding day, I'll tell you this, our wedding date, and it just so happened, we didn't plan it until I actually wrote it down, is 9/10/11. And so that's how I remember.
9/10/11.
And as my grandfather would say, you do the math.
Wow. So do y'all have any kids together?
We do not have kids.
But yes, you do.
We
A lot of kids.
You might not have any
A
biological
lot of
children, but you have kids.
And so, he can tell his own side of the story, but one day he was just like, it's a lot of girls around here.
Yeah.
And he's a former baseball player as well. And so he went up to the baseball coach and said, man, you need some help because these girls are driving me nuts. Yeah. And so he then split his time. Once cheer season was over, we roll right into baseball season with him, which is amazing. So he goes and spends his time with baseball as well. And so, that's.
Well, let's bring them on for a moment. Introduce them.
And I like that. It's even more like a family aspect.
Absolutely. This is our assistant coach of 14 years as well. He is Alexander Hickman.
Okay.
Hey!
Come on in, man. Come on in, man. Get on in here, man.
Say hey.
You know what? You can get a stool and sit a little high back there. You can get one of those stools, man. Sit a little high back there, man. We're going to bring you on, man, because this big time, this big business, because this interview is going to cover so much that's going on in today's society, in the world, and the problems that we're actually having.
He definitely provides a good perspective.
I might have to come out there with the coaching too, man. I got to throw a mean curveball, man.
Hey, I don't believe you.
Hey.
Last time you pitched in the game, somebody knocked the street light out on Martin Luther King, man. That ball from Bama High, that ball's still going, man. That ball in Ocala now.
You tell my business like that.
I knew it wasn't.
So, man, tell me. This is pretty interesting. You live together.
Yes.
You're married. Of course, you're married. You live together. You work together. How hard is it?
It's easy. That's what keeps it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are. It's my best friend. Like it's. I would have it no other way. And as you talked about, Teddy last week talking about, you can lose relationships over that. And then she said, when we got married, I made a conscious decision. I said, what we're not about to do is this, passing each other the night, because what would happen, I'm up at 6:30, 7 o'clock, going to work. So maybe I get a kiss on the cheek. I'm out the door. I'm coming back, getting home at 5:30, 6 o'clock. She's heading to practice at 6 o'clock. We probably wouldn't even see each other until she would get home at, say, 9:30
Especially
at night.
Atlanta traffic.
Yeah, Atlanta traffic. So, and she get home at 9:30 at night.
You sleep.
It's time to go to bed. I mean, we get 1 hour a day together. It just didn't make sense. I was like, we got to make the math because that is not going to build a strong relationship.
Exactly.
So that's why I determined very early on. Before we even got married, I was like, no, if you're going to do this is how it's going to work. I'm going to be there. Because and she, from time to time, she tells me, you don't have to go. I was like, I know I don't have to go.
Yeah.
I'm deciding to go. I'm deciding to be there because if I'm not, I do not want to add any. Relationships are tough anyway.
Yeah. Your presence must be felt.
Yeah, but it's even tougher when you don't get to spend that time together.
Exactly.
And it's a thing that we bond around. It's a thing that we can do together. Like I said, I've learned more about cheer. She has been cheer. I've learned so much more about cheer in the last 14 years than I ever thought I ever wanted to know.
Right.
Wow.
And so she trusts my judgment. Even like we're in tryout season. When we start to look at these candidates, these athletes that are coming in. She trusts my judgment. She'll just say, score that person.
So you actually know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
okay.
You know what you're doing.
I can score. And we pretty much, if she scores blindly, I score blindly, we are assessing the same way.
And I will say in the beginning stages when we were first starting, and Alex he was learning what stunting was and what it looks like. Alex is a Morehouse, Georgia Tech graduate, so he's got an engineering degree. So a stunt is simply a build. And so he could look at it from an engineer's perspective and say, okay, I see why this is not hitting right, or this needs to shift this way.
Gotcha.
And so that kind of became...
I understand the physics of the stuff. So that helped me a lot, just watching. And so I do that to this day. She'll say, you got to get in there. And I'm like, I got to step back because I got to see what's happening. I got to analyze what's happening. That's the way I'm able to help because I can see what's happening. She's dropping her hip, or this is happening. It's shifting this way. This person is stepping wrong this way. And so I can break down the mechanics.
And then go fix it.
And then help them fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Man, talking about a support team. Like, for you to say, you know what,
Coaching.
I'm coaching.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how that speaks volumes, because you know what you did? I'm going to be in my relationship. I'm going to be in my marriage. And guess what? I'm not going to require her to change her routine. I'm going to support her and join her. And I don't think enough couples, enough people, especially in our culture, can put their pride aside and sacrifice self-satisfaction for the greater picture and the greater plan. And that's your marriage.
Well, I'll say another thing that we were very intentional about was once we realized what we were doing and we started to learn our kids more, we realized we have to be an example for these kids of bigger than just this sport and bigger than this cheer. We're showing them what a successful relationship can be, how a man should treat a woman, how a wife should show up in her marriage. And these are things that subconsciously we are instilling in them as well. That's very important. It's very important to us as well to make sure that we are giving them, because a lot of our kids sometimes come from single parent homes, or they come from just environments where they didn't see a good example of what relationships can be. And so we have a lot of conversations. I tell people all the time, we probably do 10% cheer, 90% life.
Love it. Love it.
Maybe 20
Love it.
cheer,
I love
20
that.
cheer, 80% life with our team, especially at this age. You know, people think, oh, once they get to college, oh, they're good. No,
This is
no.
the most formidable time
This
in their
is a
life.
very dangerous time in their life. You know, because they're old enough where they feel like they've got some independence and some autonomy that they can move and do how they want. But they're also still young enough
Haven't
where they have an
experienced enough
experience
life.
to know is this the right move
But they
to
think
make, or is
they're
this,
grown.
what are the repercussions of this move? Yeah, they think they're grown, so
they're grown.
sometimes they feel like I can suffer with the repercussions of this, and you really can't, or you shouldn't have to. And so we are very protective of our team. I don't let a lot of outsiders in around us. I don't, you know, and you know, in this cheer age right now, All-Star cheer.
Yes.
There's been a rampant, of abuse and things going on with coaches and student athletes, and I'm not having any of that.
Yeah, gotta protect
I'm not
your
having
babies.
any of that. Got to protect it, and not mine are technically
Right,
adults.
You still look at them like
Yeah.
they're
your
kids.
baby.
But I mean, just perfect example. I've got a girl on my team right now that when she came in, she was 16. She had just turned 17 years old, and so I was like, wow, you're a child, you know what I mean? And so,
Protect
not
you.
like my other girls, because sometimes I even have grad students that may be 23, 24 years old, and so it's a spectrum
Okay,
that
wide range.
we're our age that we're dealing with as well. But it doesn't matter how old you are, how long you've been around here. If you are under my umbrella and my protection, I'm 100% in for you. Yeah.
Wow.
I
Now,
love
But
that.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, how do you manage the different ages together on one team?
We encourage that clicks happen naturally. That's a natural part of relationships and organizations. I'm always very cognizant of who is clicking up with who.
Okay.
And we have no problem interjecting to say, I think maybe you should also spend some time with these people as well,
Okay.
guiding them for their own benefit, because sometimes they just don't know.
Well, and yeah, sometimes you'll get younger girls. Like I said, you have a 16-year-old, and she decides she wants to click up with the 22-year-old. I mean, there's something she can learn there, but that's probably not the healthiest way, because she's learning how to move in a way that she may not be ready to move in that way.
Yeah.
So when you see that, you'll
What's hey? Why don't you find some other friends? I'm not saying to kill those relationships,
Yeah.
but utilize the
network
the network and
Love
utilize the maturity of those relationships to learn what you need to learn. But you might need to hang out with some people more around
Your
who are
age.
your
Your
age
age.
or
Yeah,
doing the
your
things
age.
that
I love
you need to
that.
be
Yeah.
doing. Yeah,
I
so.
love that, because you guys are paying attention more to just them on the field.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you're analyzing who they're talking to, who's their friends.
A huge part of cheer, and it's here at Clark Atlanta, but it's everywhere. It's cultural fit. If you've got handspring whip through the full, but you're a jerk, nobody's ever going to see it. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever going to see it because we don't want to deal with it. Right? Nobody's ever going to see it because nobody's going to want to deal with it. We are very intentional about understanding. Can you fit the culture that we have established here and that the standard that we've set here at Clark Atlanta.
Love it.
And can you manage that? If not, we can talk about it and discuss it, and I'll even help you find, we call it releasing them to their greatness, release them to their destiny.
Love that.
Sometimes it's not the place for them, and we can help you with that, and there's no hard feelings.
Release into
no
your
hard
greatness.
feelings.
Release
Yes.
into your greatness. That's a good way to put that.
Yes.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Release into the
Now, some people ask us what Crunchtime Survivors is and what does it represent. It's a platform for all people, all walks of life, all races, all genders.
Pity party, right? I get in the shower. I planned this, I planned it, right? I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna break down. And the tears didn't come. And I was like, okay, I was like, girl, come on, let's make it happen.
They gotta come.
This has gotta happen, right? It didn't happen. And instead, it was, I honestly felt like I heard, it was my moment where God was like, girl, we ain't got time for that.
Okay.
That's not what this is. That's not what this is, sis.
Gotta handle
You
business.
stand on
Ready for
up,
the
finish the shower, and we got stuff to do. And so, not to say that any person that's diagnosed with any type of cancer doesn't deserve to have that moment. That just wasn't the reality for me in that moment.
Right.
That just wasn't my experience. And so we began our fight, you know. I went through, I had a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. I've had 30 rounds of radiation.
Wow.
And as well as being on, 10 years of hormonal medications. I did not have to go through chemotherapy, although there was a moment where that was a consideration and on the table. And
having the kids. You asked, do we have kids?
Yeah.
And that is the reason why we don't, because the condition that we found her in, the medicines she had to be on, it just was not. It's not something she could do. Yeah, it wasn't safe to do. You know, we would have to go off medications, which leaves room for cancer to reoccur, and it's just it was a decision that we decided was not the right decision for us.
I love that. I love that.
So, like, how was it for you? Like, being the support system, seeing her going through this stuff. Like, how was it for you?
It's been tough. It's probably been tougher than I've ever let on. Because you watch somebody that you love and care about, and and I'm a realist. I call myself a realist, and so I have to actually bring myself back, because I go to worst case scenarios. It's a coping mechanism. Yeah. Probably if there are any psychologists, they probably say that's not what you should do. Yeah. But it's the way I process a lot of stuff. I say, what's the worst case scenario, and how will you handle that, and how will you deal with that? And if I can handle worst case, I can handle everything before that. Yeah. So it's the way that I processed it. Mm-hmm. So what's worst case is I would lose somebody that I love dearly.
Yes. Right.
And I'm like, but I know God's got me even in that. Not that I can deal with it if she's gone, but I had to go there to be able to come back and fight the rest of the stuff in between. Yeah. And that's what I've done. I'm like, okay, it's not worst case. Mm-hmm. We can manage all this stuff in between. Everything from when she would go through have surgeries. We still had a cheer team out there,
right?
And at that point in time, she couldn't even come to campus. I would come to campus and I would coach by myself. I would make sure they were doing the things they did. Wow. I would coach games by myself when she couldn't be here. So it was that's what we did.
And it also gave, and I will say this, speaking of the team. Out of everything, besides my mother, telling my team was the hardest conversation to have.
Wow.
Because
they're your kids, and they hurt
I mean, they did, we were right here in this room, as a matter of fact. And the looks, and mind you, I've been sitting with this for a while. So I'm in survivor, recovery, fight mode. Mm-hmm. They don't know any of this yet. Right. And I had to, when I said it, the expressions on their faces, I mean, you could see them viscerally sink into their chairs, Wow. Like, Coach, what are you saying to us? What does this mean? One actually left. She just got up and left. And so I had to not only, contain my own strength. Yeah. It helped me though, because I realized, hey, I got these kids. I got to be there for them. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so they were able to pull together and be a big part of my recovery as well, and help me through that. That team is very special to us because we all went through a lot together. And I'm still fighting. I say, I'm very cautious to use the word survivor because every 4 weeks I go and get a shot with a needle that's the size of a ballpoint pen. Oh, wow. So I'm still very much fighting this disease.
That's going to have to be like pretty much forever.
That's my life, yeah. And so it definitely contributes. Yes, I've got a tough father and I've got an even amazing mother, but my own battle has given me a strength that I hope that I try to instill into them, That's what God gave us.
That's beautiful.
That's what God gave us.
And they are blessed to have you. Like this.
I'm talking about surviving. Man, talking about surviving.
That's real crunch time.
As we're coming up to the end, I have a few questions to ask. I got a 2-minute drill to run down.
Okay. I love it.
Okay. What advice would you give to a cancer survivor? I mean, anybody that's going through cancer right now, what advice would you give them?
Well, as somebody you're saying somebody's currently going through it right now, I would say that your cancer diagnosis is your cancer diagnosis. I tell people all the time, diagnoses are like snowflakes. No two people are the same because your home life is different, your support's different, your cancer is different, your age, your level of fitness, all of these things play a factor in it. Okay. So you have to walk your own journey. Wow. You can't you can take advice and you can hear the things but you still have to know what you know. And I also say, don't be afraid to get second opinion. The doctor that told me that I needed chemotherapy, I went and got a second opinion. I just wasn't, it just, again,
comfortable.
My connection with my higher power, with God, got a lot stronger then, so I could hear his voice a lot clearer. And when that doctor said that, everything in me said, that's not right. Now, of course, you don't want to hear it, but I told myself, but if it's what has to happen, it's what has to happen. But then once I did some more research and got a different doctor, and she was able to explain it, I don't agree with that, and this is why. So don't be afraid to change doctors. I've had 3 oncologists because they didn't work for me. Don't feel like you have to listen to what that one doctor is saying because you're already overwhelmed with information. I feel like we both have PhDs in cancer at this point because it's a lot of information real fast.
And if you don't like their bedside manner, don't be afraid to change doctors because they might be saying the right thing, but you don't like the way they're saying it.
And that's good because a lot of times, especially with Black women,
we'll just take it.
They don't think that, we know, we'll just take it. And then, of course, that has...
Yeah, I found myself telling the doctor, so what about this test? And she was like, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, sis, you're not going to work for me.
They say we over-exaggerate and we're... So
I've been blessed that I haven't had those experiences with my doctors, but maybe because the moment I felt something off,
like,
deuces.
Not you.
It's not you. I got too much going on. Like I said, I'm a pro at this now.
Right.
I'm 10 years in the game with this cancer thing, so I know what I know.
That's thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You do your research.
Yes, thank you for that. That's
All right,
like
so
eye-opener.
What else?
All right, so any young girl that's in cheerleading, what advice would you give them about the sport?
I would say research what it is you want to do within the sport. If you want to go to college, if you want to cheer in college, start looking at college teams and find out what it takes to be on that team. Because one of the things that amazes me is I get a lot of girls that have never cheered before, and they think, oh, I'm going to this HBCU, this Black school.
I'm gonna be a cheerleader.
They think it's just sign up. This is not a sign up thing.
Nope.
You have got to have experience. You have got to understand what you're doing. Now, granted, I have girls that maybe came from gymnasts. They've never cheered a day in their life, but they were gymnasts. Right. You've got the discipline. You're still an athlete. You've still got those skills. If you're willing to learn, they can become good cheerleaders. I think I'm on 3 now.
Yeah, the gap is because especially with they've got the tumbling, they've got the body control, body awareness, they got the flexibility. The gap is not that large for them, and so we just need to teach them some of the core cheer fundamentals.
And same way with dance. I've had dancers that have become cheerleaders as well. But so I would say to young, think about where do you see yourself in this sport? And then go and find out what they do and research that. And then start to align yourself with the goals that they have.
Wow.
I want to ask y'all one thing, too. What do y'all think made y'all relationship last so long and strong?
Cheerleading?
No.
I knew that was going to be an answer.
But, I mean, it has definitely, made a difference in our relationship. But I don't know. What do you think? What would you say?
We ground our relationship, number one, on a higher power with God. Because like I said, it's just life, period. Forget cheerleading, forget the job, forget work. It's just hard to bring 2 lives together, period.
Right.
And so the fact that you can unite and you can anchor into something bigger than the 2 of you has been very big for both of us.
Wow.
We have a lot that we bond around together. Like, it's like we don't do all the same stuff. I'm a gamer. I go in the room, I put on Call of Duty, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
But she gives me that. When she gets into some of her stuff,
I'm an artist.
She's an artist.
Yeah.
She does that, but she likes to do sometimes some mindless watching the reality shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
Gotta tune out. Gotta just tune out.
You
zone
got
out.
that, but there are times when I'll cross over and I'll come and just watch shows with
Watch
her,
it.
just
Wow,
to be
that's
there.
beautiful.
There are times where she'll come and sit and just watch me play video games, you know, or watch me do what I'm doing, whatever it is, you know, and but we find good balance of
Find common ground.
common ground and common threads that we can share together, and then we support each other in our other stuff that what we like to do independently of one another.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, reality shows, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's, my man Mozzie, Black Love Clothing Apparel, it's right here. It's right here.
Black
it's
love.
real black love.
Yes.
Hey, and that's been another episode of Crunchtime Survivors. It's your man's Coach Chain.
Coach Cat.
Coach Brandy.
Hey, we're gonna need y'all to stop playing.
You know it's like.
Stop playing with Coach
Y'all better
Alane
come to
Hickman and
court.
the husband, Mr. Hickman.
Y'all come
Stop
to
playing
court
with
this
them,
year.
man. Tune in to the next episode. Hey, we love y'all, man. It's a wrap.
Y'all give me inspiration.
Yes.
Yes, I can find some love.
yes,
See,
yes.
and I gotta find somebody that understands the life of cheer. And then I need you to be in with me.
It's a life. It's
Because it's so many gym owners, their husband now is right there with them. I'm like, I gotta find somebody that just understands.
Let's knock this real out right quick.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
You have to.
and I think you got to have a guy that can understand that likes sports. It doesn't have to be that he likes cheer, but if he
you
can,
run all the sports.
I always
but
say
if
I'm
he
gonna have to
can-
get another coach when I date.
But if he can cheer, understand that cheer is a sport and like the sport of it, the athleticism of it, the the coaching of it and all of that, because
That capital on the start.
who I was on this show is not always who my team gets. You know what I mean? They get a lot more.
Yeah, exactly, girl. But they need it though.
Oh yeah.
We need it. We need it for our kids.
She's gonna kick Brand off the team on Mr. Curfew.
Oh, what I was doing.
You Mr.
I'll
Curfew
be
for the
hot.
third time.
I was doing.